So I think that resentment comes up for a lot of people, especially in family dynamics. So I just want to unpack that a little bit, because there is a hidden gift of resentment, because it can show you where you are in integrity. It's one of my favorite words. And where you aren't. So being judgmental and resentful means that you're overly focused on the other person and where they aren't meeting your expectations. And we know expectations are so dangerous. They kill most romances and love, because you can't even access it anymore. You stop appreciating them for who they are, especially when you just expect them to give you. But it can be in every relationship, right? Your children, certainly we can get to a place where we don't have great experiences, and even with other family members. And upon hearing this word, even, I'm sure that you could recall bitter arguments, right? When you hear resentment, right away your mind goes to, okay, well, who do I resent and what came up? It could be a toxic relationship dynamic, or the boss you had who never seemed to get it. The chief characteristic of resentment is a feeling of powerlessness, which I love too, right? Because when you feel powerless, that's when you're like, oh, that person, look what they did to me, or they didn't do to me, or how they saw me, or they didn't see me. It's either a person or a situation, and it almost always takes up more of your mental energy than you'd like. So the key word here, though, is that resentment is a persistent feeling of somebody who wronged you or insulted or some kind of injury in a way. And it builds over time, because it's every repressed emotion. So when you didn't say something like you wanted to, right? That's like what we said earlier. And then you have the wrong conversation at the wrong time. Or when you wanted to speak up, you didn't. Every time you felt your feelings were not valid. And it often is masqueraded as anger or frustration or sadness. But really, this is what is at the core of it. So I think that when we realize that it's up to us to have conversations we need to have, that we need to say what we need to say, how we feel, what we think, of course, with thoughtfulness, then you can never put the blame outside of yourself. I don't believe in blame anyway, but instead you're now taking responsibility for your experiences with people. So you're not powerless, you're very powerful, because now if you feel that your boss is doing X, Y, and Z, or your partner doesn't show up and give in ways, the way to flip this, the number one tool, is to ask yourself in those moments, where am I not giving? So a simple example, and I don't want to trivialize this, but let's say that your partner says, what do you want for your birthday? I mean, I've had, one of our kids is like this actually, but or even like, I want to do something for your party or a dinner or something. No, I don't want anything. And then of course, when the birthday rolls around, they're disappointed, they're sad, they're depressed. Why didn't you celebrate my birthday? Well, I asked you and you didn't want to, right? So it's your responsibility to actually express what it is you want. You can't look at your spouse or anybody else saying, I have to do all the heavy lifting, when they offer and you don't actually take the offering. And it could be in any single scenario. So the way to get out of this is in those moments where you're looking at how this person is the cause of X, Y, and Z, stop and ask yourself, where are you exhibiting the same behavior, or where are you not participating in changing it?